This is Matt the Teach from V Beach. Welcome. It is week 2 of college football. I'm going to highlight some things from week 1. I'm going to talk through my system as I always do. I'm going to talk about some upcoming games today. We're going to see what the system picks. We're going to talk through some stuff. Back tested algorithms. If you want to look at my previous data, you can. Let's get rid of this. Let me hide this thing. If you want to look through some back data you previously can, this is what it's projecting. Now, again, this is past data. What I mean by that is I build my algorithms, I test them, then I fix them, I test them again, fix them, and as the years go by, as the data compiles, I add features. I, I'm to the point now, though. I'm looking at individual games. I'm not looking to change my whole program. I'm looking at what did I miss on this game? Where was I right on that game? So anyway, this past data, big numbers, 66.2%. I can't guarantee that. By the way, let's go through the running total of last week. So the way my model works is I look at data and bring it in as it happens. So I'm looking, all these wins and losses are based on last year's teams. And I'm going to explain why this is dangerous to you. And I honestly find out not week 1, but week 2 and week 3 are the most dangerous in my model. So if you're going to test my model, stay away from those weeks because that's even worse. This is at least going back over all the data from last year. If you're betting on week 2, you're basically going off of one game's worth of data. How pure can that be? So anyway, it looks like I went 5-5. The interesting thing is the under bets were 4-1. There was one loss, and I'll cover that in a second. Well, let me cover it now. The one under loss, Pitt versus Kent State. This is why I don't bet week 1. First of all, a one-man show. If I had a team of people that could examine every game, that'd be great. That'd be great. Pitt hired a new offensive coordinator, got a new QB transfer. Where did the QB transfer come from? Came from Alabama. Four-star recruit, was on the scouting team. So their whole offense changed. So now you went from an inept offense to an offense that posted 55 and basically covered the over by themselves. That's why it's tough for week 1. Okay. Now I noticed my spread bets came in. Away minus came in 1-4. Home minus came in 0-1. So basically 5-5. I had no away plus bets, no home plus bets, 50%. However, so the break even's 52.38 at a minus 110. I actually would have lost more than that just at break even. I would have lost more than the juice. Why? Because I had 3 5-star bets win, 2 3-star bets win. I had 4 5-star bets lose. So not only would I have lost just based on the juice, I would have lost based on the bet quantity. Anyway, let's jump to the model. Now I'm going to highlight some games. Okay, this last week and a half, Florida State, 0-2 already. Okay, now a lot of people are going to rule out Florida State. They're probably out for the national championship. I agree. However, what I find is that a team that was supposed to be top 10, top 15, when they get back in the game later on in the season, they destroy teams and they cover the spreads because they want to look good. So I went to their site specifically. I said, "Who are you guys playing?" This is just what I do. So I looked at their games. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty small here. Let me see if I can. If I'm going to circle a game based on what I've seen, I'm probably circling SMU. SMU has also played twice. They beat an FCS team that's not very good, and they've lost to 2 FBS teams. That's not true. They split the games, but they barely beat the first game, and they were supposed to win by 24. This is not the SMU team of previous years. So I'm looking at the SMU game. If I'm on Florida State, might look at the North Carolina game. North Carolina beat Minnesota 19-17, but didn't show much. Probably stay away from the rest. Duke, the two I'd probably look at, SMU and Duke. Might consider going hard on the Florida State game for those. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do whatever my model says. But that's how I look at things. So let's look. So I went through SMU again. Escaped the first game. Coastal Carolina blew Jacksonville State out. Is what it is. Oklahoma did as expected. TCU barely took Stanford. The Clemson Georgia game honestly was an embarrassment. Georgia just took them to the woodshed. Penn State, West Virginia, my system picked that dead on. Virginia Tech, they have a lot of returning starters. A lot of returning starters. A lot of people are talking them up. You can't lose to Vandy your first game. I know it was a close game. You still can't lose to Vandy. I know it went to overtime. Let's speak about that. Look at the score I've posted for Vandy for this game, 27-27. Well, that's not how it ended. Vandy won 34-27. In my model, I post regulation times. I cannot go into overtime. I don't care what happens in overtime. Yes, it's going to affect whether you win or lose money. But from my modeling standpoint, I have to post 27-27. For instance, last night, Duke, Minnesota went into overtime. I think Duke won 26-20. They came in 20-20 at the end of regulation. My system said to take Duke plus 2.5. I count that as a win, not because of the 6 points that they won in overtime, because they were dead even and they were getting 2 points. So my overtime, the way I look at it, whether right, wrong, or indifferent, from a modeling standpoint, I have to look at the regulation time. Whatever happens in overtime, happens in overtime. So this 27-27, I'm sure it's going to bother some people. I don't care. That's how I model. Syracuse looked decent. Miami's going to be tough. I don't think it's just that Florida was not on the game. I think Miami's here. They're back. What else? Northwestern Miami of Ohio. You don't take the under in that game. That was too easy. Nebraska, their offense is better. I'm not going to run through every game. Old Dominion. A lot of people are talking about the Old Dominion game this week. They're saying basically, wait a second, a lot of missed opportunities. Think about the over in that game. Alabama, as expected. Michigan, okay. Notre Dame's impressive. I mean, a lot of people were taking taking A&M. Kentucky blew out Southern Miss. James Madison, Charlotte. Big game for James Madison just to get out of the gate. Apparently, Charlotte scored the first touchdown. That was it. Okay, let's just wrap it up. LSU, UCLA, obviously amazing game. Let's look at this week's picks. And this is where it gets dangerous. I decided to run them even against my better judgment. I'm going to concentrate not on the picks. Oh, I'm going to concentrate on the numbers. Look at the projected numbers. This is the danger of running a model like mine week one, with 1 week's worth of data. Now, again, Florida State's played like 15 games already, but that's the only other team. Okay, look at these numbers. Look how skewed they are. BYU, 6 points, SMU 35. Duke, 28, Northwestern 1. Why is the data so skewed? The data's so skewed because it's after one game. Now, the argument could be made, hey, why don't you use some of last year's stats? True, I could try to take an average. I could try to take a weighted average of last year's stats, first week game. I'm not doing that because I'm really not worried about week two. I'm worried about weeks moving forward. You can see they're very skewed. I mean, game after game. Charlotte, North Carolina, Notre Dame. Oh, Notre Dame, look at that. They're giving up 28 points, and they're going to lose to Northern Illinois. I actually have to check that game out. Even with the minus 28, somehow that seems flawed. So I'm not betting. I'm not obviously not betting these games, 22.5. A lot of these, believe it or not, come down to a couple stats. Do not bet in my system, week two. Now, again, people are going to laugh. Oh, my God, you have Notre Dame losing. No, I don't. No, I don't. Okay. These are I'm just showing you as the stats go. That's it. That's all I'm trying to do. Okay. And I guess Notre Dame scored 23. My guess, Northern Illinois didn't give up any points or gave up very few points, maybe scored a lot. It's one week of stats. The Ole Miss game, MTSU, looks like they're going to cover. Virginia Tech over Marshall, minus 20.5. It has Marshall. I will be interested to see how these stats come together. This is an interesting game. This is the one people are talking about, 17-7. Okay, I'm going to zoom out. The picks, I posted them on SBR Forum. I posted them on a bunch of different other places, including my website. If you want to look at them, you're more than welcome. Just go take a peek. Let me see. Let me zoom out. See if you want to take a picture on your phone. Let's go. But again, if you're betting week one, week two, you better have the idea, not me, because mine's statistical based. I zoomed out a little bit. I don't know if you can get that. Anyway, I'm going to sign out. I'm going to start to get ready to watch some college football for the day. I can't wait. Oh, look out for Tennessee QB. I hear he's up for the Heisman, and they're rocking. By the way, I will be in Norman, Oklahoma on September 21st to watch that game. Tennessee versus Oklahoma. Thanks, Bill. Bill's my brother. Thank you for the tickets. I'll see you guys next week.